mobile, really, and unfortunately iPhone have stolen the day.
I think you're absolutely right. You only have to look at some of the, I think Sente is the name of it, the services in Africa where people are finding ways to transfer money to family members in different villages hundreds of miles away using using the code on the back of a prepaid calling card as a currency, with somebody in the village taking a slice of it. These are people finding a way to make that work for them, and that has nothing to do with data services. It has nothing to do with apps or web services or, you know, or on-browser services, whatever it is. And I think it is about the device and what that allows you to do, completely.
We're using the I word a lot. If you're developing an app, how important is it to think of, you know, there's Nokia Bobby Store, there's BlackBerry, there's Android, there's a whole raft of them. Can you just get away with one or two, or do you need to be everywhere?
We've done maybe 15 apps in the last 10 months, and we've done 3 iPhone apps. So 12 of our client pieces of work have been non-iPhone, and we've been very happy with that. I mean, the Fanta piece has had nearly 800,000 downloads, which is more than we could ever imagine to get on the App Store, I think. So, you know, for me, it's Java, BlackBerry, then iPhone, then Android. But that said, the iPhone apps we've done have been just on iPhone and not on any other formats. So it's quite strange. And we're just launching at the moment our first app that goes across all phones. And the next ones are going to work in the cloud. So you'll just be using your browser to get to them.
And how much investment, how much investment would it take? How much does it cost?
Well, I mean, you know, an iPhone app can range from £15,000 to 200,000.
Same question, how much does a website cost?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they're not expensive. They're not price prohibitive things to do. I think, you know, some people are ticking the innovation box, so I'll do an app, go and show it to their boss, and that, or other people are testing things out here and there. And what I get quite passionate about is doing this stuff under a strategy. So having an umbrella strategy, you know, let's engage them, acquire them, and activate them for sales, and then you can play. And I think we're moving towards that. You know, I think, you know, I mean, some clients are better than others, but you know, I think it's important not just to say, oh, I'll do an app. Do you see what I mean?
But if you're investing a couple of £100,000 on software, maybe for one platform, for one store, and then you think, well, I ought to be elsewhere. Well, for a medium-sized business, that's a lot of.
If you build a Java app, BlackBerry is just a nominal little extra bit of code. Yeah, the iPhone's an individual development, and the Android's an individual development. But even when you put them all together, they're not price prohibitive. You know, the whole lot is the same as a medium to medium-sized radio campaign, and this stuff lasts. You know, it has a length, so you can. I mean, it's a great opportunity at the moment because of the low entry cost.
I think the interesting thing from my point of view, working with developer communities, is it isn't really about the coding that's the issue. It's the fragmentation within the industry. So different carriers requiring different standards, different certification, different store formats that you have to deliver to. And there's a work-through stat, a piece of research by a guy called Alan Quayle, who did a very, very extensive piece of research for us, that identified if you followed every channel, so every device, every system, every platform, every version of every device, and every market, and you had one app, you'd end up producing 35 million different versions of the same app, which is a big part of the work I'm doing with developers. I want to take away some of that fragmentation to make developers' lives easier, because actually the pain comes in the point of delivery, not the point of development generally.
I cover 75–80% of handsets. It's not hard. It used to be. It's not anymore.
But maybe that's fine if you're the Fanta with the gazillions of pounds of extra marketing spend. The problem, isn't it, people discovering your app when there's a few million out there? If you're investing your 100,000, 200,000 in cash to build something, how do you know that? Well, first of all, how do you tell people that it's there? And secondly, how do you measure its effectiveness? What's the metric?
So I think O2 used that as a mechanic. For all the people that downloaded the My O2 app, which is their account manager and for handling their bills, they have a cost per call to the call centre, and if they can reduce the number of calls coming in, then they've proven the worth of that. They've proven the worth of that app, and it's done on that very basic metric.
Also, it's quite funny, but for me, success with a client is becoming and if you were in the conference before this one, it's really interesting. Everyone in advertising is starting to suffer out of the same problem, which is we have created a new channel of advertising, which is advertising for advertisers. And it's the little case studies that we create. And that's how, at least, my clients are measuring success these days, is by playing a little video they found on a festival by judging or someone sharing it with them. And then the little video, it just says, we created this iPhone app, and it was downloaded 80,000 times. And for them, it's like, holy shit, I gotta get into this. And to be honest, that's incredible. Like, I just find that so insulting nowadays. Good products get out there. Quality products, good messaging, good stories, anything you do that it's successful. Success should be a consequence and not necessarily the goal here. I think when you have the right message and the right concept, and you have, again, you either give something to the audience that they can use functionally that makes their life better, or makes them feel better emotionally, or you touch them in many other ways. I think that's when you measure success. Other than that, I just can't even process that conversation.
What's the thing? Is it
isn't it reach?
An idea is only as good as the things it changes.
Yeah.
You know.
You also get to see the effect of what you've built. You know, you can get feedback, you can measure the success, because every one of the app stores has a mechanism for customers to leave feedback and tell you what they think. You know, I'm getting slated because I don't have Birmingham on my application. We don't fly out of Birmingham. Sorry, but yeah. But you know, it's feedback. There is some useful stuff as well. That's one of the most interesting things we hear from developers, actually, is that they, in the stuff that we're building, they're asking us, is there a better way to handle recommendation and review? Because one bad review at the top of the list that's just been done, that says, I hate this, it's crap. And then people sort of go, no, I think I'll go and find something else. Which is entirely unfair. I mean, it could be their competitor putting a spurious review on there, and then you've got to go through the process, particularly with Apple, of saying, actually, I think this is incorrect or spurious. You know, there's a real desire for a kind of truth or a better model of doing this, of having this, particularly because there are hundreds and thousands of apps, that people want better ways of finding the stuff that's good.
How helpful are the gatekeepers? I mean, Apple's notorious for not telling you how long it's going to take to approve your app. Are they doing all they could?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
We've only done one iPhone app so far for Coca-Cola, and it was incredibly, surprisingly successful, incredibly cheap for what we usually spend in any other media. And we're close to 2 million downloads, I believe.
Which one is it?
It's a Magic Coke bottle. It's like a little 8-ball, but for Coke, and it just gives you positive messages with liquid.
So the ROI on 2 million downloads is just through the roof.
Yeah, it was top 25 down application, at least in 8 different countries around the world. And to be honest, Apple it took a long process, but they, I don't know, reliable in a way.
I've put questions to the audience in a minute, so think of what you want to ask. I just got another question before we do that. We've been talking about brands giving away apps to build customer loyalty, to offer a service. When should they sell apps? I mean, there are publishers now selling. Jamie Oliver has a £5, I think €6 or €7 app, where he's got recipes, he's got video about the recipes, there's some nice touches. That's been one of the top grossing UK apps. Who else should be thinking about actually selling?
I've got a great case study. I don't know if anyone here is from England or familiar with national rail inquiries, but in the UK there's a phone number that you dial to get the time of any train and the next train arriving. Fabulous service, and they spent a lot of money on it, infrastructure, train times. And when iPhone first came out, someone launched an app called My Train Times that's linked into that computer and did everything on your phone, and even showed you where the train was right now, because they know where it is. beautiful, fabulous thing, because a train's only late if you don't know it's late. If someone tells you 15 minutes early that a train's 15 minutes late, actually you've got an extra half an hour to your life, it's fabulous. So this app was free, and then National Rail wrote another app, turned off the free one that some guy did, and charged £4.99 for it, and put it on the App Store. And it's the only place that you can find out now the National Rail times, because they put a wall around it. And it caused a massive uproar on the App Store. The comments, hundreds and hundreds of them, were just outrageous, ghastly, swearing, attacking the brand. But guess what? Millions and millions of people downloaded it. And they made an absolute fortune, charging for a service that they used to pay for. So they had to have a whole call centre with hundreds of people in it, 24/7. It cost them millions of pounds a year to support this phone service. Suddenly they're making millions of pounds every year on the app. Everyone hates them, but they don't really, because it's a fabulous app, and they've gotten over that original kind of wash of complaints. So it's, that's a really tough question. We've never done an app that the clients sold, but that's not to say you shouldn't. If it's a good app, you should charge for it, I think.
Short-term benefits, though, for long-term brand damage.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because these people that really hate them now, when it all washes out, and other people are charging, maybe the original backlash will be forgotten. People will be happy to. I mean, for me, I'm used to having the free phone service, but I still bought it,
Surely they're only doing that because they've got a monopoly on the information. They're leveraging their position unfairly. You could argue, because actually you could argue, as it's a public company, they should be releasing that information, and they could be creating a lot of opportunity. For example, if they released the data and the API within that, then there could be 30 developers creating competing apps or services that would get better and better and better for delivering that information.
But as a business, were they right or wrong to do it? And I think it's a really, really, really tough question.
But increasingly, we're in an open source world. I mean, Google's whole mission is we want all our applications to run through HTML5, the big new open source platform, so developers won't have to worry about which 35 million versions they're developing.
And that's great, but then they bring out the Google version of TomTom just plummet in one day. I guess that's a good thing. I mean, HTML5 is going to be fabulous, but this whole area is pretty scary, I think, because they've got all the power. So it's a really, really
monopoly. Anybody here with a question for our bright panel? There should be a microphone somewhere. Yes, please. I don't know if there is a roving microphone, is there? You just have to shout.
Favourite app that we use on a daily basis, or just favourite app?
Which apps do the panel use the most and do we rely on? Thank you.
I use Twitter the most. I do like the app that I've just lambasted, the National Rail app, even though they're evil. And I really like the Schmuel work, the ocarina flute and all that kind of thing.
Chris?
Tube Deluxe.
What does that do?
That tells me how long I'm going to take on the tube. It's normally a lot longer than I planned it to be, but never mind. So I use that all the time. Facebook, Twitter apps frequently, and Bejeweled. But that's my guilty secret.
Tell us about Bejeweled.
You match up different shapes and colours and get points and compete against my family on Facebook.
You do spend 80 or 90 minutes a day on your app.
At least. Most of the flight over.
Okay, I don't know what you've downloaded onto your Nokia.
I don't think I can download on this thing.
Does it do text message?
Didn't you have a torch?
I got Snake though.
Yeah.
Can I see that?
Yes, of course.
I want one of these. This is cool.
If that doesn't have Tetris, if it had Tetris, it should have as applications. I used to play a lot with Facebook, football scores, which is kind of a fanatism, and definitely Solitaire.